Hello guys, this is part 53 of jQuery tutorial. In this video we will discuss how to load HTML data from the server using jQuery AJAX Load function. First let's understand what is AJAX. AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. AJAX allows parts of the page to be updated without having to reload the entire page. Let's understand what we mean by this statement with an example. Here we have a web page that captures first name, last name, email, and income. Now next to every text box, we also have a div element. Whatever a text box receives focus, we want to display the help text associated with that text box next to the div element that is present next to that field. So here income field has the focus. So the help text associated with the income field is displayed in the div element that is present next to that field. Now all this help text is present on the server. So anytime when a field receives a focus, we want to load that help text associated with that field from the server. If we have to achieve this without using AJAX, then we will have to do a full page post back to the server. So the server is going to process the request and send the entire page HTML back to the client. Now just because we want to display the help text associated with a specific field, look at the amount of data that is exchanged between the client and the server. The server is sending the entire page HTML to the client. And the server also, the amount of data that is exchanged is more, and another problem is this full page refreshes cause screen flicker. With AJAX, the server is not going to send the entire HTML back. Instead, it is going to send just the help text, and the client is going to receive that help text, and it is going to update the div element without having to reload the entire page. So let's see how to load this data from the server using this jQuery load function. This load function. So if you look at this load function, it has got three parameters: URL, data, complete. Out of these three parameters, URL is the only required parameter. The other two are optionals. So this URL parameter specifies the URL to which the request is sent. Data parameter specifies a JSON object or a string that is sent to the server along with the request. And this complete parameter specifies a callback function that is called when the request completes. In our upcoming videos, we will look at an example of using data and complete parameters. In this video, let's look at an example of using this URL parameter. So the first thing to do here is to design a web page that look like this. Okay, we will design a web page that looks like this. So let's flip to Visual Studio. Where is the Visual Studio? So within the body section, we need a table, and this table is going to have a tr, and this tr is going to contain 3 tds. So here we want to display the literal text. So what we will do, okay, I will do copy some text from it, from the notepad. Okay, okay, come on. Okay, this is the table, and I am going to copy this from here and paste it in the at this place. Okay, so we need to give body some amount of style. Let's check again. Go to the development. This is a style. Copy this and paste it in the body. Okay, so here we want to display literal text. First name is the literal text, and then we need a text box. So let's use an input element. So input type equals text, type equal text, and let's give it an id. So let's call this first name. We have given it, and then we need a div element. Okay, here in the third td. So div, and let's give this div element an id. Let's call this first name help div. Okay, similarly we need trs for last name, email, and income. Tr for last name, email, and income. So I have pasted this coding here. Now if you look at this HTML, it is very much similar to what we have here in the first name, tr, so last name, and then a text box, and look at the IDs. So here ID of the text box is first name, ID of the text box is first name, and the ID of the div is first name help div. Okay, this one. And for last name, the ID of the text box is last name, as you can see here, and the ID of the div element is last name help div. It is here. So the div element have got an ID, and that is equal to the ID of the input field, that is the text box plus letter name. Okay, I have intentionally named them that way, and in a bit you will understand why. So for email, the ID is email, and the div element is email help div. Similarly for income, it is income for the text box, and income help div for the div element. Okay, so if we view this page in the browser, means if I run this into the and look at the browser what we will get. Okay, this is how it looks like. We have all the fields, and next to those fields we have the div element. Now the next step is to include a help text. For your convenience, I am closing this. So this is how it looks like. So we have all the fields, and next to those fields we have the div elements. Now the next step is to include the help text, right? So the help text is going to be present in another HTML file, and obviously that file will be present on the server. So to our project, let's go ahead and add an HTML file, and let's call this help.html. So what we will do, we'll go to our Visual Studio, and here add an HTML page. This one. So I will call it as help HTML. Okay. Help.html. So we don't require all this. So what we will do, click it here. So we don't require all this HTML here. You don't require all this HTML here. So remove them. We just need a div element. So I'm going to give this div an ID, and the ID of this div so ID of this div is going what? I'm going to intentionally match that with this div. Means first of all what we will do, go to the notepad, copy only this part and paste it back to here. So intentionally I'm going to initially match that with this div ID, first name help div, this one. So I'm going to match the div of this HTML help, first name help div. Okay, and again in a bit you will understand why is that. So div ID equals first name help div, and this div is going to contain the help text for first name field. So your first name as it appear in passport. Okay, so similarly we need to have help text for last name, email, and income. And in the interest of time, I have already typed the required HTML. So let's copy it from Notepad. So go to the Notepad, and here is the rest of the coding for last name, email, and income. Okay, copy them. And paste them into the below this. Okay. So our help text is present in this HTML file, that is help.html. This is the help text help.html, and this is our page where we want to display help text. Okay, here is the page where the help text will be displayed. And so now all that is left is to write the jQuery code to load the help text from that help.html file, right? So the first thing we want, associate events, focus events for all, events for all these text boxes. So we want to find all these text boxes, and I am going to use this jQuery selector to find all the text boxes. So give me all input element where type attribute equals text. So what we will do here, we go to the notepad and we'll take this chunk of coding, copy it and paste it here. Where to paste? Oh my god, yes. In this script. So I'm going to use this jQuery selector to find all the text boxes. Which selector we are going to use? We are going to use this selector. Okay. So give me all input element. Where type attribute equal text. So this is going to give us all the text boxes, and I am going to store these text boxes in a variable. Okay. Here we need to use this one. Copy this and paste it here. So again I am telling what is I'm going to use. So what is I'm doing here? I'm going to use this jQuery selector, this one, to find all the text boxes. So give all the input elements where type attribute equals text. Okay, type attribute is equal to text. So this is going to give us all the text boxes, and I am going to store these text boxes in a variable. Let's call this text boxes. So which variable we are talking about? This is the name of the variable. Okay, copy it and paste it here. Yes. So we have all the text boxes. Now each text box we want to associate focus event handlers. So when the focus event is raised, we want to call this function. Which function we are talking? This one. Okay. Copy it and paste it here. I'm not typing here, but you should type the coding to make your practice perfect. Okay, now let's see. What do we want to do? Whenever a text box receive focus, so when for example first name receive focus, means here when the first name receive focus, we want to display the help text associated with the first name field. within the div element that is present next to the first name field, right? So we need to find the ID of the div element and look at the way we have named them the ID of this div. So what you need to do, you need to go again the okay. So copy this variable help div. I'll tell you what does this line, what is this line is going to do. Paste it here. So we need to find the ID. Here is the ID of the div element and look at the way we have named them. The ID of this div is first name help div. Just look here. Here, first name help div. Okay. Means here you can see here is the first name help div. And last name help div. Here you can see this is the ID which we are using here, and email help div and income help div. The ID is equal to the ID of the input field, means here plus this literal help div. This is the literal help div, right? So I'm going to create a variable here. So we have created the variable here and call this variable help div, and this variable is going to contain the ID of this help div. Okay, contain the ID of this help div, and we are going to compute that programmatically. Okay, so to get that ID I am going to get what is I'm going to get the ID of the text box itself. So how do we get the ID of the text box? You know this focus. Whenever the first name text box receives focus, you know this function will called. Which function will called? This function will called. And at that point when we use this keyword represents the control that has received the focus, right? And we want to retrieve the ID attribute value. So I am going to use at attr, okay, attr function. So this is going to give us the ID of the text box that has received focus. For example, if first name text has received focus, this expression is going to give us first name, and to that if we append this literal text help div, this is the literal which we are appending here, then we are going to get ID that is associated with that input field. Okay, with that input field. All right. So what is the next thing to do within this help div? Within this help div, we want to load the help text from the help.html file. Means we want to load the help text in this help div variable from this help.html file. Right, so to do that we are going to make use of this load function. Where is the load function? We'll get it. Here it is. Copy this line and I'll tell you what this line is saying. Paste is just below this. So we are going to make use of this load function. So where do we want to load that help text? That help text into this div element. Okay. So I'm going to use the jQuery ID selector. Okay. So hash is the ID selector. This is the ID selector. Okay. And then to that let's append help div. This is the help div appends to this ID selector. And on this div element, help div element, I'm going to call the load function. This is the load function which we are going to call the help text. So we want to load the help text from the server into this div element, help div element. Okay. So first of all, you need to erase this thing. I'll tell you why. Okay, you just need this much of code. So here we are going to just specify the URL. This is the URL help.html. So when the text box receives focus, it is going to load that HTML into what? Into this this div element. Okay, help div. Now not only that, when the text box focus loses now not only that, when the text box loses focus, what we want to do, we want to empty the div element, right? So I am actually going to make copy of this, and when the text box loses focus, blur event is raised. So go to the notepad. This is the code for that. Maybe I could have copied this portion also, but I have copied from the notepad. Okay. So blur event is raised here when the focus is lost. So when blur event is raised, we want to handle that. Find the help div, of the text box that has just lost focus. And what do we want to do? We want to empty the div. Here we have empty the div. And to do that, I am going to use HTML and then pass an empty string. This is the HTML and pass, because here we have used the load function. Now here we will use HTML and then pass empty string here. Okay, all right. So let's save the changes. Let's go ahead and reload this page. So first of all, you need to do what? Save this and go back to your browser. And if you save the changes and reload the page, now if I put here, look at this. When a text box receive focus, look at what we get. We get nothing here. So what is happened here? Back to your coding. Here we need to write again. We missed here this variable, huh? Yeah, something is missing there. I have missed this coding. Variable text boxes. I think I have it here. Let's check it. Okay, check it once again. Yeah, no, I have written it here. My mistake, sorry. So here we need to write this portion also. Hash. Again, do it. If I go and reload this, we are missing again. Something has went wrong. So what we are missing, we are missing nothing. I think HTML. Okay, help div is already there. We are not using the help text, which should be typed here. Once again, check the coding again. Everything is right, then what is happened? Here we have given the divs already there. Okay. Variable help div load function is used there. I have got this load function. Then what is happening? It should be like that. Okay. What went wrong here? Yes. This need to be used. That was making me. Okay. Saved it again and refresh the page. What is happening? It is not showing the div element associated with it. So I think if we minimize it and check it here, dollar document ready function variable text boxes is equal to dollar input type text boxes dot focus function. Oh yeah. What is I am using here? Text boxes is missing here. No, everything is right here. Help div dollar plus help div. Okay, this need to be okay. Okay. We need to use this also. Okay. So once again, save the changes. Go back to the browser and again refresh the page. Let's see. Yeah, now it is working. Okay, as you can see, look at that. That we get help text. This is the help text. You know that your first name as it appear in passport, your last name. Basically whenever a text box receive focus, look at that. Next to each div element, we are getting the entire help text. Means we are getting this all stuff. Entire help text. I mean the entire content of this HTML dot help page. Okay, that is because here we have specified help.html. Here we specified where we have specified here help.html. So what is this going to do? This is going to load the entire content from this page help.html, and that will be loaded into this div element, div element. But that is not what we want. We want to load the help text. When first name text box receive focus, we want to load only the help text that is associated with that first name. Okay, that field. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is give a space here where we will give a space. We will give space here, and then I'm going to use the ID selector. again pound symbol. Okay, this is the ID selector which we call pound symbol. And if you look at this help.html, look at the ID of the div element that contain the help text for the first field. If you go here you see what? If you see the ID of the div element that contain the help text for the first name field, it is intentionally named first name help div, and that matches with the ID of this div. Which div? To this div. Okay, and we have this help div. This help div, for example, when first name text box receive focus, this variable is going to contain first name help div, that string, which matches that string help div, this one, okay, which matches with the ID of this div element, with the ID of this div element. So here I am going to pass the ID of the div element, okay, and this variable contains that ID, right? So to that I am going to append help div. So go here and append this help div. We have to append here. Okay. So basically what we are saying here is within help.html file we have an element with ID. For example, when first name text box receive focus, here the ID. When first name text box receive focus, this help div will contain first name help div, right? That is the ID. So basically we are saying here within help.html there is an element with the ID first name help div. So from that element load that HTML into this element. Which element? Into this element. Yeah, okay. Whatever the selector returns means this selector returns whatever this selector returns. Okay, now but keep in mind whether you do this or whether you load whether you specify just help.html, this one. In both cases, the entire HTML content of help.html will be loaded, from the server to the client. So on the client, it is going to find the element and the entire and then retrieve its content and then load that into this div element, okay. So let's save the changes. Let's go ahead and reload this page. So save the changes and go to the browser and save the change and reload this page. Now let's see this. And look at this, where the first name text box receive focus, your first name as it appear in passport. And when the text box loses focus, look at that, it goes away. Similarly, your last name and email, annual income is the last name receive focus. You will see this last name as it appears. Then email, your email address for communication. Then income, your annual in- income. So here is the HTML of help.html page. Okay. And here is the HTML over HTML page 1. Where is the HTML? Here it is. HTML page 1.html. Thank you for listening and have a great day.